So, Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to my show Inspiring Minds, where I will try to inspire you. And this is me, Mehtaba Manwala, and I'm a student at Enhanced School Online Academy. So, as you know, that on daily basis we will do interview, and when we will do interview, so we have a very special guest in our studio. So today I have a very special guest in my studio, and her name was Sir Gordon Tredgold, and so let I introduce self. Uh, Today we are honored to welcome Sir Gordon Tredgold, an award-winning corporate motivational speaker, renowned for his ability to simplify complex and challenges and deliver sustainable results quickly with the talent of creativity, easy to understand strategies that empower teams. He's recognized as one of the top motivational speakers in the world. He brings a wealth of experiences and transforming difficult situations to his success stories. So, yep. So let's start this interview with meet and greet session with Sir Gordon Tredgold. So, hello, sir. How are you today?
Hello, I'm very well. And you?
I'm also good. Thank you so very much, sir, for giving me your precious time. And it's like a wonderful to having you in my studio. Thank you so very much. And let's start our question answer session. Yep. First of all, can you introduce yourself? Who is Gordon Tredgold? Yeah.
Yeah, so my name is Gordon Tredgold. I've worked for 35 years in IT. I have a degree in mathematics, which helps me to problem solving. And with that background in problem solving, working in mathematics, it allowed me to progress. And over 35 years, I went from being a programmer up to senior vice president for IT services on a global scale, managing teams of 1,000 people, $100 million programs. And that gave me a lot of insights into how to lead. And for the past 10 years, I've been speaking on coaching and training people in leadership.
Wonderful. And sir, what unique ability does you have?
Sorry?
Now, yeah, I'm saying that what unique ability does you have?
Unique abilities. Well, I wouldn't say any of my abilities are unique, but I would say I have some abilities that are quite rare or in demand. You know, when you look at projects, IT projects, the failure rate for those is very, very high. It's around, depending on the type of the project, if it's a digital transformation, around 84% fail. For customer experience programs, it's closer to 93%. And the rare skill that I have is I have an ability to be able to deliver projects. So I'm part of that 15% of projects that are successfully delivered.
Wonderful. Okay, so how does you approach difficult situations?
So the thing about when it comes to leading projects, a lot of times people think that the issues with the project, especially in IT, are technical, that the technology doesn't work. But when you look at it, it's really more often than not, it's a failure of leadership. In in digital transformation programs, for example, the top 100 companies in the US have invested $1.3 trillion, but 84% of those projects failed. And when you look at why they failed because the team didn't know what the goal was, how they were going to do it, why they were doing it, and where they were on the journey. So none of that has got anything to do with the digital technology. It's about knowing what, why, and how. So a lot of the things we need to do as leaders is manage that communication. And if we don't do that, then our teams become lost, and failure is the usual outcome.
Okay. So, what does you do differently in difficult situations?
So the first thing for me to do is to make sure that we're clear on what our goal and objective is. You know, if we don't know what the target is, how are we going to see that target and hit that target? So I make sure we've got clarity around what it is we're trying to do. What does success look like? That's the first thing. And then the second thing is to get clarity on how are we going to achieve it? Do we have a clear plan, an approach that people believe in? Um, and the majority of projects don't have either of those two things. So by getting those two things, you put yourself into a much higher probability of being successful. Can
Okay,
I ask you a
so
question, mate? Are you a cricket fan?
yeah, I am.
How can you bowl a batsman out if you cannot see the wickets? If you don't know where the wicket is, how are you going to bowl him out? And in 2020 cricket, teams like to bat second because they want to know how many runs do we need to score to win. You know, the team going first, they're just trying to do their best. But the team going second, they have a clear picture of what we need to do. We need to score 150. We need to score 212. We need to score 250. By understanding, you can then say, okay, we need 5 and over or 10 and over in order to win. So we've got to get that clarity of target, and then we can put our plan in place to try and achieve it.
Wonderful example, sir. Okay, so now explain me that what is your approach to problem solving?
So the approach to problem solving is to do enough investigation. Albert Einstein, one of his famous quotes is, if I had an hour to save the world, I'd spend 55 minutes understanding the problem and 5 minutes trying to solve it. And I think in today's pressurized world, we spend 1 to 5 minutes trying to understand it and then 55 minutes trying to solve it. And again, if you're not clear about what the problem is, you can end up working on the wrong thing or find it almost impossible to solve. So a lot of the work is about understanding. Understanding, um, it helps us define what we need to do. It helps increase our confidence. It helps us communicate to the others in the team what we need to do. So yeah, that's my approach to it. And then the other part of the approach is that quite often I'll be faced with a problem I've never experienced before, and rather than thinking about, oh, this is new, I'll ask myself, is there anything that is similar to that, even if it's in another field, and can I borrow a solution to something else to fix this? Because if you look at it and you think of it as new and you're trying to find a new solution, that can limit the options. Where if you can ask yourself, is there an old solution that I could change a little bit to work in this situation? It gives us more options and opportunities.
Okay, sir. So, how would you describe your solutions?
Sorry,
I'm saying that how would you describe your solutions?
how would I describe my solutions? Well, the solution. See, that is an excellent question because it highlights the biggest challenge. You've asked me for my solution, but you haven't told me what the problem is. And there's a great saying that diagnosis without investigation is malpractice. So if I try and tell you what the solution is before I know what the problem is, then that's malpractice. We have to understand the problem first. And a lot of the times when I look at problems, um, I'm always mindful that complicated problems don't necessarily need complicated answers. So I'm always looking for the simplest solution that's available. And simple solutions are not easy to find, but if we spend a little bit more time and we can find a simple solution, it will be easier for our teams to implement. And if I can't find a simple solution, I find a way to explain the solution simply, because understanding allows people to take action. If people don't understand what it is we're trying to do, then they can't take action and they become, you know, paralyzed or will look to quit and give up.
Okay, sir. Okay, so what are the characteristics of your solutions?
Sorry, what other
Yeah, I'm saying that what are the characteristics of your solutions?
the characteristics? I think the characteristics of my solutions are pragmatic. Um, and as I say, I try to find the simplest approach and one that is easy to explain. And another thing I would say as well is that a lot of time people overlook obvious solutions because they think things are more complicated. You know, I'll give you an example. This is not a true story, but it's a great training uh, or coaching tool, and that is that when NASA first started going into space, their pens wouldn't write in the cool temperatures and the low gravity. And the story is that they got the best pen experts together and they spent $1 billion designing a pen that would write in very cold temperatures and zero gravity. The Russians didn't have the same level of expertise, so they continued using pencils. So when we are looking for a solution, we should ask ourselves, is there a pencil solution? Because it's easy to spend $1 billion if you've got that kind of money, but that's a lot of, a lot of people don't have that kind of money, and it's a waste of money. So do we have a pencil solution? Is there something that's already made? We don't need to create a brand new solution. Does that make
Okay,
sense
sir.
to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, use a pencil. You don't need to design a new pen.
Mm. Yeah, because it's a pencil, so why we will make it pen?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think I'm a lot older than you are. That'll probably be a surprise to you. But there are very, very few new problems. A lot of the problems we face have already been faced before. So go and find out how people solved it previously and use that solution. And also, as well, I would say from a leadership perspective, a lot of time, many leaders think that they have to provide all of the solutions, but that's not true. Your job as a leader is to get the best solution from within your teams. So ask your teams what do they think, and they might surprise you with their knowledge and understanding.
Okay, sir. So what kind of results does you aim to deliver?
Um, so So it's interesting. I think a lot of time people look to try and achieve 5 and 10%, maybe 20% improvements if we want to be bold. But I I I want to be even bolder than that. I want to be looking to achieve 50, 100, 200% improvements. And a lot of times people will say that's not possible. But again, if we come back to cricket, you know, 10 years ago, people would have said that 5 runs and over, 6 runs and over was a very high run rate. So 120, 130 off 20 overs would be a good score. Now people are saying 10 and over. And what's changed? That nothing has changed in terms of people aren't bowling slower now. The ball isn't bigger, the pitch isn't smaller. It's that people have changed that attitude of let's go out and try and get a boundary off of every ball. So our attitudes, if we aim low, if we aim for 20% improvement, we'll probably get 15, 16%. If we aim for 200, we might get 150 or 100%. So got to aim high. Don't accept current performance as the as the benchmark or what we can do. As I said, if you just look at cricket, people are scoring a lot more runs now than they were 20 years ago, and the game's the same. It's the attitude that's changed.
Okay, sir. So now tell me, how quickly does you aim to deliver results?
So I think I try to. For me, I'm always looking to. Well, it depends what you mean. If you want to have a baby, it takes 9 months. So some things have a predefined um, timeline. A 12-month project takes 12 months to deliver. But what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to have an almost an immediate improvement in performance. Because if people are focused on the wrong thing, if you change that in the first week and have them focused on the right thing, you'll see almost an immediate improvement in performance and results. So I'm looking to have a big impact very, very quickly and change the way people think, change what they're looking at, get them on the right path. And when you're on the right path, then you can make great performance leaps.
Okay, sir. So you are also a speaker. So tell me that what kind of speaker you are. What topics did you cover in your like speaking?
A lot of people talk about being motivational speakers. I'm not a motivational speaker, even though I've won motivational speaker awards. Because a motivational speaker is about cheering people. Come on, come on, come on, come on! You can do this. I want to be an inspirational speaker where I give you the tools for you to be able to go and make the improvements on your own so that you have the belief and the confidence that you can do it without me, and then you become excited. Because if I can do that, then I can inspire a room full of people and they'll all go off and do the work themselves. If it's motivational, then I have to stand behind everybody, motivating them, and that limits my impact. So I would say I'm an inspirational speaker. I speak on leadership, employee engagement, culture, driving results, and the approach is all about giving people proven tips that they can go and use on their own right now. So getting people into action, getting them excited, and when you do that, you can really kickstart your results.
Okay. So in which country is you recognized as a corporate motivational speaker?
Yeah. Well, I tend to, well, corporations pay the most money. So it's always good to go and speak at corporations and at events for corporations. But I've spoken at universities, I've spoken in schools, I've spoken to entrepreneurs. I'm happy to speak to any people that want to look at improving their performance, because a lot of what I talk about applies to business, but it can also be applied to any goal or initiative that you want to try and achieve.
Okay, sir. So, how does you approach impact the teams he works like you work with?
Well, it's all about creating sustainable results. So it's about giving them the tools, giving them the insights so that they know what to do, not only this time, but the next time they're in that situation. So it's all about that, you know. I try to make the um, the tips easy to understand because, as I say, when it's easy to understand, it's then easy to do. And I'll give you an example. I was coaching I was coaching myself to run a marathon, and a few of my friends didn't think I could do it. But I told them I had a simple plan, and that was run 15 minutes a day for week one. Then week two, run 20 minutes a day. Week three, 25 minutes. Then week four, 30 minutes. And then you just increase the amount of time you run by 5 minutes every week. And after 24 weeks, you can run a marathon. And with that advice, because my friends could see step by step how we were going to get closer to the time we needed to run a marathon, they were able to then go off and train on their own, and we could do that. Now, I could have talked about the kind of shoes you need, running techniques, about hydration, about food, about physiology, but none of that would have inspired people. It's about showing them you can run for 15 minutes, then you run for 20, 25, 30. And when people can see the approach and believe they can do it, that's when they're going to go off and do things on their own. So that's the approach I try and take for everything. I want to coach people, but I only want to coach them once.
Okay, sir.
I don't want to
Okay,
make them dependent on me. I want to make them independent of me.
wonderful. Okay, why are your plans considered successful?
Well, I think it's because the the first step, and I mentioned this on a podcast yesterday, on projects that fail. This was IBM, large IT company. IBM did research, and on the projects that failed, 70% of the time, the people involved knew day one it was going to fail. So 70% of the time, people knew this was not going to succeed. And when you're in that situation, what happens is people don't work as hard because they think they've no chance. And then that can become a self fulfilling prophecy, even if they could have been successful. So, what I want to do is I want to create a plan where day one, everybody looks at it and says, we could, excuse me, on day one, where everybody looks at it and says, we can do this. So now from day one, everybody's going to be putting in 100% of the effort because they believe in it. And whether you succeed or fail, in cricket, even great teams sometimes just miss out a little bit. But what we want to do is we want to put ourselves in a position where everybody believes we've got a chance and moves forward. So for me, that's the first success. If everybody believes in it and that we're going to try for it, that's the first success. And then if we have a bit of good luck, we might achieve the outcome. If we don't, we'll be close, but we might just a little bit. But if people don't believe from the start, then you're doomed from the start. Does that make does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
try to understand what are you saying, but yep, like I can understand that what kind of like words you are trying to say. So yeah, it's my second last question from you. That how does your ability to assess the situation contribute to your success?
Sorry, say that again.
Yeah, I'm saying that how does your ability to assess situations contribute to your success?
Well, I think it, so one of the things that um, one of the things I talk about when people ask me what I do, and I tell them I put the train back on the track. And what my problem solving and analytical skills do, they allow me to understand what the challenge is, and to be able to do that and then set things up so that it has a chance of being successful. And then once the train's on the track, it's easy to drive the train. But if the train isn't on the track, you ain't going anywhere. Or if the train's on the wrong track, you're not going to be going to where you're going. So that's really part of the um, differentiator that I bring. It's all about putting the train onto the right track. And then when you can do that, anybody can drive the train. If it's not on the right track or it's not on the track at all, you've no chance.
Okay, sir. So it's my last question that how can organizations benefit from hiring you as an motivational speaker?
So they can benefit from, so they can hire me as either a motivational speaker or bring me in as a leadership coach or consultant. And what they can benefit from is the approach I use is all about helping teams understand what are the causes of failure and how to set themselves up for success. And the majority of projects fail in the setup stage. So by bringing me in, having me speak to your teams, even through a 90-minute talk, we can give them tools and tips that will allow them to put themselves on a position where projects, product launches, whatever it is you're trying to do has a higher probability of being successful. That's my background. I'm a turnaround expert. Companies bring me in to fix projects that aren't working. But ideally, what you want to do is have me come in at the start so we can set it up for success rather than having to try and turn it around once it starts to fail.
Okay, sir. So in the last of this interview, any message that you want to give to our audience who are watching this interview, so you will give it.
Sorry.
Any message in the last of the interview?
No, I still didn't understand the question.
Yeah, I'm saying that any message that you want to give to our audience who are watching this interview, so you will give it.
Yeah, so I think you know the, I wrote a book called Fast about four principles that everybody needs to achieve success, and there's two reasons why things fail, and it's either we're doing the wrong job or we're not doing the right job very very well. And in the majority of cases, when I go and work with companies, it's that they're doing the wrong job. So spend more time in the setup. On any journey, it's that first step that puts you in the right direction that is the most important. If you set off moving towards your target, you've got a good chance of hitting it. If you set off not aiming for the target, good luck with that. So spend the time, make sure you understand the goal and the approach before you dive in and start working hard.
Okay, thank you so very much, Sir Gordon, that you will give me your precious time, and it's like a wonderful to having you in my show, Inspiring Minds. And thank you so very much for showing your presence here, and I will be very grateful for your time. And thank you so very much for being here. And thanks to the audience who are watching this interview. Inshallah, we will meet in the next interview with another guest with another. Yes, sir. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, and if you like this interview, please share it widely, comment on it, and let everybody know about it.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, everyone, for watching this interview. Inshallah, we will meet in the next interview with another guest. Take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.
Inshallah.